Hey everybody, this is This Week with the Roses. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Kelly, and this is your Saturday, November 6th episode 35.
Yeah, 35. We've been doing this for 35 weeks plus a few weeks where we missed or had problems. So,
Yeah,
but this is the 35th
don't
episode.
jinx it.
Yeah. So,
look, we have wrapping paper in the corner over there. All our stuff's gone off the chair, and now we've started wrapping for Christmas.
Christmas time's coming. We had to prepare a little early this year because your mom and dad are going to Georgia for most of December and part of January to visit with the boys and Jen and Paul. So there's that.
Yeah, so we had to jump on it, which is good. So we're pretty well done.
Yeah, we got everything done. We got to work out when to go visit my brother and his families, or my brothers and their families.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have any more time off. I can take off of work. So I work the weekend, so that means Christmas I'm working. It happens. If you get a chance to work at a call center, pass.
He works Christmas Eve, Christmas, the day after Christmas.
But I got Thanksgiving off, which is cool.
Yeah, that's good. So this week, big doings in Virginia this week.
Yeah, as you all know, that we live in Virginia Beach, and we had an election this week that had national implications.
Yeah, little did we know, all of a sudden we just started hearing about how important this election was. And, I don't watch news very much, but like when I started hearing them talk about Virginia Beach on the news, I was like, yeah, apparently, Virginia sent a message, apparently. Big surprising results in Virginia with the election.
They look at it kind of like they look at the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes are supposed to give you an idea of what's going to happen at the Oscars, blah, blah, blah. It's just like a precursor. It kind of is stick your finger in the air and figure out where the wind's blowing. And, with the state of the world.
There's been a lot of turmoil in Virginia recently surrounding the school systems. I really think in my heart that this election, the Democrats lost this election because of a singular comment that was made that riled up a huge base of people who were maybe riding the fence and who would normally vote third party, but there was a third party candidate.
There was a third party choice, but she wasn't libertarian. Really, she had an LP next to her name, but when we looked her up, she was full tilt,
liberation party.
Yeah.
And I had never heard of that before.
Yeah, I had.
She never. There didn't really have much of a presence, other than when we looked on the sample ballot, we were like, I don't even know who that is. So I think what happened is,
for a libertarian candidate and they didn't have one. I was like, okay, I guess we're not running anybody this year. So
I feel like that might be what happened because, people who vote third party do so for a reason because they don't really believe in the big politics of the Democrats and the Republicans. There's a lot of us out there who sit on the fence and we're not really one or the other. And so what happened without there being a major third party candidate, I think a lot of people went, and then there was a couple of things surrounding the school systems. And I think people just kind of tilted the other way. That's what I really think happened. But,
you can look it up. There's all kinds of news stories about it, but there was some stuff that happened, particularly in Northern Virginia, that was just deplorable. Like some seriously horrible shit happened in Loudoun County.
Yeah,
look it
up. I don't know a lot
of
the details,
get into it, but it's just bad.
And then the way it was characterized, I think, on the part of the parent's reaction to what happened to their child, I just think a lot of people didn't really appreciate how that message was received. So anyway, Virginia went solid red.
Solid red for the first time in decades, really. And that started under George W. because George W. Bush did a great expansion of the federal government. So there was a lot of people that moved into Northern Virginia. And then Barack Obama greatly expanded the federal government. And then, then it was basically a solid blue state. It really was. There, aside from Northern Virginia and Richmond, it was, pretty red.
The state as a whole
is a little blue, but
when you get the western part of the state, tends to always be conservative. It's the big urban areas just like in any other state, I would imagine. But we'll see what happens. I don't really believe in a solid red or a solid blue.
No.
I like there to be some red and some blue and like a nice shade of purple.
Yeah.
I think is kind of where I am personally. And so I don't like the thought of every level of government being of one party. Doesn't excite me, but we'll see what happens. All you can do is sit back and raise your voice for the things you believe in. Yeah. If you see things happening you don't like, that's just what you have to do.
That's what you got to do.
So there was that, and we were off. This was, I think, the first time the school systems were like completely closed on election day.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Normally, the kids never came to school on election day, but normally the teachers all worked. But not this year. They were like, nope, holiday. So Kevin and I got up super early and voted just because we didn't want to wait in a big line.
Got through pretty quick.
Yeah, and that 4-day week, which we thought, it's going to be nice to have a 4-day week. Boy, the kids really kicked it in there on the last day and made it feel like a 5-day week. So they picked up the slack. Thanks, kids. Friday was
we went to bed. She was like exhausted. We went to bed at like 8:00.
It was ridiculously early.
You didn't get up till, well, you got up because of Tilly.
Yeah.
And then you didn't get up after that until it had to have been after 10 o'clock.
It was 10 o'clock when I got up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we have another, we have technically a 3.5-day week with kids this week because we don't go to school Thursday. It's Veterans Day. And then Friday, the kids get out early.
Really?
Yeah. They get out at 12:55. It's an early release, not a new 2-hour release. So the city of Virginia Beach, I mean, there have been a lot of teachers that are struggling to keep up with the pace, the COVID measures and the lack of staffing and the amount of people out on quarantines at any given time has made it really hard in some situations to cover staffing. And so it's gotten a little bit crazy. So they decided to give us not half days, but 2-hour early dismissals on Wednesdays between now and the end of the first semester. And in true fashion, those days dismiss at a different time than our normal early release days. So now parents have to discern between, is this a normal early release or is this a 2-hour early? So we have to make it difficult in some way.
Like more difficult and just for no reason.
I mean, there is a reason. Don't say there's no reason. There is a reason. Teachers need time. You cannot.
No, I mean the dismissing at different times.
Oh, at different times. Yeah, I don't know.
You're going to do a half day. Make the half day of
it should be uniform the same time.
Yeah.
No matter why you're dismissing. I agree.
But aside from confusing. It's this time we're doing early dismissal. It's this time, but this time it's going to be this time. No, what's wrong with you?
Don't change things. Just, stick to it.
Tase that person.
So, and it was a welcome announcement, like an acknowledgement that teachers are struggling and might need more planning time, unencumbered planning time. So no meetings or anything, trainings or anything scheduled. It's just prep time. Because, teachers take tons of that stuff home, or they show up at 7 a.m. like I do, or leave at 5 or 6 at night. But that one little change in the elementary level has blown our whole master schedule completely crazy. Yeah. And I feel for our administration who's trying to work all that out. Because you would think, they just leave early on Wednesday, no big deal. But like, if you have an art class on a Wednesday afternoon and you only have art on Wednesday afternoon, then you don't have art between now and the end of the semester, and you get graded. The kids get graded on it. So that has to get, kindergarten doesn't, but we're the only one that doesn't.
Yeah.
So like that has to get moved for those other grades somewhere else.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Which just displaces other things because the art teacher's packed. She's got no holes in her schedule. So it's just been a huge domino effect. But the intention was great, and I'm sure that the prep time will be well used by all of us. So, and we got the day before Thanksgiving completely off, which has never, ever happened in all of the years that I've been teaching in Virginia Beach.
Yeah, it'd be like a half a day.
It was always a half day, early dismissal. And now regular early dismissal, not newfangled early dismissal. Now we're just off the whole day.
Yeah.
I'm so excited because now I get 2 whole days with you at Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Instead of just one. So I am grateful for that more than anything.
You know what we should do? We should do some little videos. Where
I'm going to be baking pumpkin pie.
But we can do some prep videos.
How about we just be present with each other on those 2 days?
That's true. All right. I tried, folks. Try to get you another special episode.
So there's all that. But, a lot of things that happened at school this week. And not even just at school, but like in general in the world, led Kevin and I to think about what we would want on our Christmas list for society this year.
So last year we just, I'm not usually one for doing Christmas early, listening to Christmas music or anything, but last year was 2020, so everybody had a shitty 2020.
And I am going to rally hard for the Christmas tree to go up early this year too.
Yeah. And I'm for it. I'm all for it. But I'm still kind of like, all right, now things are sort of getting back to normal. But, we've got, all this early Christmas happening. And we were, you had a little conversation with one of the fans, Ann. Thanks, Ann. Shout out. And I got to thinking about one of the Christmas songs Amy Grant did called Grown Up Christmas List. I was like, let's do that for this week. We'll just talk about, not so much our list of the stuff that we want, because honestly, that's between you and me anyway. And then for me, is really, I don't ask for stuff because
he doesn't.
I don't know what I want.
I have to send him text messages going, this might be a great idea for me.
Yeah.
And then I see him furiously over there on his phone, trying to sneak his wallet out and stuff.
Oh. Oh, shit.
It's okay. It's just the way we are.
Yeah.
It's just the way.
Because I've been like tracking it and everything else. Trying to make sure I get it. Oh, well.
It's okay.
I still got to wrap it. Anything I wrap is going to be obviously I wrapped it because I suck at it so bad.
You still have plenty of time to sneak out on a Wednesday, pull some cash out of the ATM, and, surprise me with something.
I'll try to do that. That's going to be my thing. I'll go get some cash somewhere.
Anyway, but we were thinking about, and I had said in the post about empathy for other people is what I would like Santa to bring people this year. Mm-hmm. As I feel like maybe COVID's driven us so far into our own little world that we forgot there are other people surviving around us. And they are struggling and dealing with hard things too. And it really just isn't that hard to be understanding. Yeah. And,
because like with 2020, everybody was having a bad year. There wasn't anybody that was thinking, damn, this is the best year I've ever had. No one was.
No.
And 2021 isn't much better. I mean, it's probably a little bit better, but not by much. So to, out and about and things happen, you know what? I'm going to let that slide. That guy cut you off. Okay, it's not a huge deal. The trash barrels didn't get picked up until late or didn't get picked up at all. And they'll come get them tomorrow. It's not a huge problem.
Yeah. I mean, really, we need to just... I don't know. So empathy was one thing that I think people just seem to have lost. Mm-hmm. And I teach 5-year-olds who are developmentally in a stage where the whole world does revolve around them. And that's one of the shifts that happens in that kindergarten year is they start to see that they are not the center of the universe, that they have to consider other people. They have to learn how to wait their turn and how to share and how to not always be first in the freaking line. That's a big hot topic with a few of my kids.
Excuse me one second.
I know Tilly's knocking at the door. And she won't give up. So I'm dealing with that with 5-year-olds all day long and teaching them how to listen to other people and read people's emotional state. Like, what does their face look like? Can you look at someone and tell how they're feeling? And maybe what can you do to help that person or just not add to whatever they're feeling? I think adults have forgotten how to do that.
Yeah.
I watch these TikTok videos of these people, and I'm sorry, I don't want to sound horrible when I say this, but it seems to always be women in these videos that are just irrational. Like the woman who wouldn't let someone pass her in the aisle in the grocery store because she was coming within her 6 feet. And all the girl wanted to do was like walk past her, and she was standing in the middle of the aisle and she would not move and was like harassing the woman and like telling her she needed to learn how to speak English. And I mean, it was just like, you're shopping for canned corn. Just scoot your cart over, let this woman go past you. Would say a millisecond of time, but you've made it a huge 20-minute experience and you look like an idiot,
Yeah. So when you're out and about, don't be an asshole. It's not hard.
Don't be an asshole. It isn't hard.
It's not hard.
You might have the urge to be an asshole. In your head, you might be an asshole. To your loved one in the car with you, you might express that you're an asshole, but don't take it out on the other person.
Yeah. Like, don't, especially strangers. You don't know what their day is. You've had a shitty day and somebody thought you were an asshole. So
I ride to work every morning with Kevin, and Kevin hears my litany of irritants.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
The just complaining about this little thing and that little thing and this little thing and that little thing, because it's my vent. I would not take that litany out on anyone else. And if someone does something that really pisses me off, I complain to Kevin, but to that person, I still smile and say good morning. And like, it really, really takes a lot to get me to finally be like, yeah, I can't work with this person anymore.
Thinking, is she talking about me?
No. It hasn't been really in my building. It's just been the state of education lately. And what I'm reading in the comments.
Well, because some people truly believe that there are kids that aren't getting any education at all right now. Yeah, schools are closed.
Why are these teachers getting off early? They haven't worked in 18 months. That was my favorite. Like,
yeah.
It's so dismissive of everything I do to just say I haven't worked in 18 months. Like, you have no clue. No clue. That's true. I said to Kevin, are there school systems that just are no longer open and haven't been open since last year?
Yeah.
Now, I know there's school systems that are virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact when we were virtual, a lot of students never attended. So if parents want to talk about us doing nothing, how about the kids that never showed up for a virtual class or did any work?
Yeah.
Just saying. But like, are there teachers that they don't go to work at all? School is completely shut down.
No.
I didn't think so. So, and then there are good teachers and there are not so good teachers, and there are systems that are good and systems that are not so good. Everybody's virtual experience was different, but the majority of your teaching staff is bust in it, and a little bit of understanding would be great.
There you go.
I get that truck drivers are burned out. We have a shortage of truck drivers right now.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing that job anymore. You can't get people to work in restaurant. People are burned out in general. I get that. Mm-hmm. But have a little bit of compassion for that. If you sit down at a restaurant and it takes you a little longer to get your drink filled because your waitress is also like waiting on half the restaurant, just be kind.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Or don't go out.
Yeah.
Sorry, now I'm ranting to them like I'm ranting to you. You get me off. Pisses me off, and people just can't be kind.
Fucking jerks. Get on my nerves.
And don't complain. Just, God, go with it. Life could be so much worse.
Yeah.
Life could be so much worse.
Like I said, last year was much worse. And
well, I mean, last year was worse in society as a whole. This year has been hard. I mean, you lost your mom this year. I follow families where, like, this one woman just lost her 3-year-old to cancer. Trust me, life can get a lot harder than having to wait an extra 5 minutes in the line at Chick-fil-A. So stop honking your horn and being rude. Chill out.
Well, that's ridiculous. You're not waiting in line at Chick-fil-A.
I've waited in line. Our Chick-fil-A is, we just go, hey, it's us. And they're like, come on around. And that's not far from the truth.
Mm.
So anyway, that would be mine. Just patience and empathy. That's what I want people to see.
Yeah. And I want a couple things I'd like. I like for people to be a little bit more charitable. The right now the state of the economy is not very good. We got inflation on the rise. There's shortages of everything because of the supply line issues and things like that. Just try to help some folks out. If you throw a little extra pennies in the Salvation Army bucket on the way into the store, or actually write a check out to some charity, or
pick a kid's name off the angel tree.
Yeah, do an angel tree thing. One of the best things I ever saw ever. I was in Walmart one time getting who knows what, wasn't anything, and this woman in front of me had a bike, obviously for a kid, and I was like, oh, the kid's gonna like that. She's like, yeah, I bought it for an angel tree kid. I was like, that's the best thing ever. She said, well, we're just trying to help out, and that was just the coolest thing. It was a full-blown kid's bike. It looked like it was, a nice bike. I don't know like shit about bikes, but it was nice.
It made some kid happy.
Yeah. So pick a kid off an angel off a tree, donate some stuff.
Here's another tip if you're doing like donating gifts, because my grade level has kind of come together, and we've got a child we're purchasing for Christmas, and we were talking, about whether we should wrap the gifts or not. Part of me feels like not wrapping the gifts and giving the parent that experience of like wrapping the presents, and like, because sometimes that to me is one of the most enjoyable parts of Christmas is wrapping the packages and all of that. And if you are a parent who's struggling and you're receiving things for your child that's already wrapped and you have no idea what it is, maybe just provide boxes and bows and wrapping paper and tape.
Or maybe invite them and say, hey, if you want, you can come here.
Yeah, but I know there's a confidentiality. Like, I don't know specifically who the child is.
Okay.
But like, give them the opportunity to like wrap the stuff themselves.
Make it special.
Yeah.
Wrap up something special. Yeah. And you can get wrapping paper.
Because for a lot of those people, it's soul crushing to have to depend on others to provide gifts for their kids for Christmas, and any little bit of happiness you can give to those parents too.
Yeah. And if you can, donate some time. Do something.
Volunteers are allowed back in schools now in Virginia Beach.
There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go. Just something. Just you go out of your way, even if it's just a little bit, to help somebody else out for no other reason than you're just helping somebody else out. Don't talk about it. Don't put it on Facebook or whatever. Just do it, and it's just between you and yourself. So that's what I try to do. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'll throw an extra couple ducats in particularly when I'm walking in. If I ever got spare change, it's going into a bucket for the bell ringers at wherever I'm at.
I'll leave out the fact that when we pull up in front of the store, he's like, God damn it, I got to make it through these Boy Scouts.
Well, I'm a diabetic, and they're selling damn candy. Well, shit, man.
You can just give them a money donation. They will take that.
I used to be able to squeak by with I don't have any cash on my kid. I can take a card.
Hey, we supported the Boy Scouts. We got some pretty for like a wreath and a door thing coming sometime soon for the holidays. So
that's good.
Yeah.
So just be charitable. Just with your time, with your money. Everybody's struggling, and no one's having a great time. So just do something a little extra.
And if you are having a great time, keep having a great time. Share it with other people.
On. Yeah.
Share that on TikTok.
Share your happiness. Yeah. Just
rather than the horrible people that they want to always take the videos of.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of good out there too.
Yeah.
There is a lot. Yeah. We just need more.
We need more of it.
More goodness. Anything else you'd want society to have?
Just also
you had said bring all the.
Yeah, I'd said bring all the troops home. I'm glad that we're out of Afghanistan. I didn't particularly like the way it happened. That could have happened better, but the fact that we're out of there is good as a whole. It was going on too long. No one's ever going to be able to fix that. Afghanistan. I'm sorry, it's just not. History has shown for thousands of years that Afghanistan is just the what do they call it, the death of empires, graveyard of empires. But aside from that, just start bringing the boys home. It's been so long. We're being the policeman of the world.
Where do we still have a lot of people deployed to?
Well, we probably still have a lot of people in the Middle East, Germany.
But they're stationed there. Is that the same as just being deployed?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know we have people in Japan. And but I mean, they're stationed in those places.
Yeah. I don't know. I just want to be done with any conflict or wars for a while.
Good luck. Yeah. That's a little too much for Santa to carry in his sack.
Yeah. Wow.
He's got that magical sack, but that's asking a lot.
That's what she said.
I knew you were going to go. I almost didn't, as I was saying the word, I was like, I should not say this word because you're going to go somewhere with it.
If you can't throw a classic, that's what she said joke in.
So the other thing happening this week is we're turning our clocks back tonight.
Yeah. Except for the folks in Arizona, which I guess everybody's just on Arizona time now.
I guess so. It must be a pain for them to now figure out the time difference between them and everybody else.
One of the things I tell people when it comes to like security, I always bring up that there's something that I run on our systems called Safety Scanner. Go to Microsoft.com, do a search for Safety Scanner, run it on your system. If you're running a Windows system, run that this weekend. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. It's not going to interfere with any virus scans. It just does an extremely thorough scan of your system. And
does it take hours?
It does take hours. Okay. It takes 3 hours to run on my clean system. It takes considerably longer on your dad's system. But it's worth it. But I always tell folks, I do it twice a year when we change the clocks. But whenever I talk to anybody in Arizona, I always bring it up. And then I'm like, remembering they're in Arizona, I say, well, I don't know when you're.
Well, when you have to figure out the time difference between you and your neighbor state is now not 1 hour of difference. It's 2 hours of difference.
Yeah. So it's like, there's websites that you can just plug in the city you're thinking about, and they'll tell you what time it is. So that makes it a little easier. So like if I have to do callbacks for work.
That time thing really messes with a lot. It messes with me. It takes me about a week to completely and this is my favorite, like falling back and gaining that hour. I know it gets darker earlier, and I am not a seasonal depression person. I mean, this is my time of year. In fact, I had that conversation with my doctor that time, remember?
Yeah.
He's like, this might not be the time to try this because of seasonal depression. I'm like, trust me, summer is my seasonal depression.
There's no danger of this.
Yeah, I mean, just that extra hour of sleep. It's going to knock Tilly crazy for a little while, but...
Yeah.
Well, it will be lighter in the morning.
Yeah. Well, for me, it'll just seem like it's later.
Yeah.
Because I usually, like this morning, I got up at like 4 o'clock. I usually get up around 5 this morning because we went to bed so early last night. I got up early, but it'll just, that little bit of difference, I guess, actually it'll, my normal 5 o'clock could be 4 o'clock.
Yeah, but you'll get used to it.
Yeah, I'll get used to it. It's just,
okay. So just don't forget, if you, most of our clocks set themselves. Remember back in the old days where you actually had to go around and reset all your own clocks?
I got to do the microwave and the oven, and I probably got to do your mom's clock and our clock in the car.
And the clock in the kitchen.
Mike will probably figure it out.
And the clock in the
clock in the kitchen. Yeah.
I mean, the clocks that hang on the wall we have to do.
Yeah. Well, there's only the one.
There's one in the kitchen and there's one in the living room.
Oh, shit.
Behind Dad's chair, is that still hanging?
Yeah, it's still hanging. I mean, the angle I'm at, I don't see it. So.
Okay. Well, there was a big one there. I don't know if I don't pay attention to it.
The only one that really.
I can't see that far across the room.
Yeah.
It's a weird room. I don't know what else to do with it.
You see these shows on Home and Garden, and you kind of wonder if these people came into this house, what would they do? And I'm almost 100% sure they'd bust out that wall right there.
Yeah, and I would hate that. I like because we wouldn't be able to do this right now if this was all one huge giant room.
No.
I like having separate areas, quiet areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a big open floor plan.
No, I would knock out that wall over there so the kitchen and this room were all one thing.
Maybe.
I'd make the kitchen bigger, but that's just me.
Maybe. Anyway, so that's that. And that's all we had on our little list of things from this week.
There we go. So when we come back, we did a little bit of table topics from the couples table talk. We got another box of Nacho Mama's table topics.
It's not Nacho Mama's. It's not your mother's dinner party.
Yeah, well.
And you put a little flair into it.
That's how I roll.
What was that look all about? So, yeah, we'll do that when we come back. Before we go, though, Veterans Day is coming up. We just want to put out to all the veterans that we know and love, and
thank you.
Even ones we don't know. Thank you for everything that you do, whether you're deployed at home or deployed away or, serving or retired, active or, whatever. I don't even know the jargon. I live in a military town. I don't know the jargon, but you know who you are.
We appreciate it.
And so we do appreciate it. And we will be remembering you all. And, we remember them every day, but especially on Thursday.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a great week and stay tuned for Not Your Mother's Dinner Party.
And we're back with Not Your Mother's or Not Your Mama's table topics.
I'm going to go first.
All right.
All right, ready? What do you do that's bad for your health?
Oh, all kinds of things. Mostly eating and not exercising. So there's that.
Yeah, Starbucks. That bowl of Halloween candy. We thought we gave away all our Halloween candy. We were so proud of ourselves.
Yeah, we got.
Kevin was fistfulling it at the end of the night. We're like, God, we got rid of all but like maybe 10 pieces of candy. And then when we were straightening in the dining room, he's like, what is this? And it was a shopping bag with a whole other bag of Halloween candy.
Yeah, so
damn it. Yeah, I mean, that's not a hard question. That is what we do.
That's probably the easiest one so far ever.
Yeah.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
You know what I'm thinking. My grandma's got a big pet peeve.
Great day.
My biggest pet peeve is having to repeat myself.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate repeating the same thing over and over again. And I do it a lot.
Yeah.
Probably why it's a pet peeve.
Yeah.
What's your biggest pet peeve? Taxes.
Yeah, I mean, just when I see the government doing something they shouldn't be doing, which is a lot. So.
Your pet peeve is just government?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty good. These are easy questions, people.
Easy.
All right. Where should the line be drawn between church and state?
Ooh, that's interesting. They shouldn't make up laws based solely on your religion, I don't think. Or there shouldn't be anything saying that you can't do blah, blah, blah because of your religion. As long as you're not hurting somebody. So, if you want to practice your religion, practice it. If you want to, perform ritual sacrifice, no, you can't do that. But if you're, trying to write a law and you're saying, well, I want, blue laws, we're all wrong because, just because it's Sunday and it's your day for worship does not mean that, Sid down the street can't be drinking because Sid's fine drinking. That's his deal. So they shouldn't base laws on that, and they shouldn't necessarily try to hinder somebody's practice unless aside from hurting other people.
I mean, all religions should be protected, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
This country formed out of religious persecution and religion should be protected, and your right to religion should be protected, and your right to not have religion should be protected. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're breaking the law, you're embezzling money or killing people or whatever, that's different. But I think government should stay out of religion.
There you go.
And as much as possible.
Damn, these are easy.
These are easy. My mother's got an easy dinner party. I think this next one's yours.
No, I just read that.
No, I just read that.
The thing about
I read, what do you do that's bad for your health? Then you read, what's your biggest pet peeve? Then I read, where should the line be?
Yeah, you're right.
I know I'm right. I'm always right. You should just assume that.
How do your siblings see life differently than you? Ooh.
Wow.
That's deep.
That is deep.
And that could be trouble.
I was just going to say, I just feel like we're both getting ready to just step in a big old steaming pile right here.
Probably more so you than me.
How do they see life differently than me? Okay, you want me to start or you want to start?
I read it. You got to start.
Okay, so I am the oldest of 3. I have a younger brother and a younger sister. My brother's in the middle. My sister's the youngest. And we are very different in personality.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I am not a very socially, like, what do you call it?
Butterfly.
I'm not outgoing. I'm kind of introverted. A homebody, not much of a social butterfly. I have a very small comfort zone, and I tend to stay in it. But I will, step out of my comfort zone on occasion and do things
like this.
My brother is got a smaller comfort zone even than I do, and tends to stay in it. But a wicked funny sense of humor. Mm-hmm. Probably one of the funniest people I know. But he doesn't share that with everybody. And so if you're lucky enough that Mike ever shares his true sense of humor with you, then you're good to go. My sister is the exact opposite. She is very social. Lots of friends around all the time and constantly busy, with girls' nights out and all this other girls' trips and things like that. She's very much, her friends are her family, and she lives a long way away. So she's not here where like the family is. So that, I think, plus her job really solidifies their relationships. Mm-hmm. A lot of her really, really close friends are also people that she works with. And because she works in a high trauma job, they tend to form really unique and close bonds. And so I think her friendships are, and then she sees the world a lot different than I do too. Mm-hmm. Whereas she is more like wanting to see the world and wanting to travel and try new foods and learn, go to art museums and things like that. I'm not. I'm just kind of happy to stay in my little place. So, and I'm much more of a control freak, although I think Jennifer's somewhat of a control freak also.
Oh yeah.
I'm probably less because I will tend to like just, I don't want to be involved, if it comes to planning something. So I think that's how we're all different. I don't think anybody that knows the 3 of us would say anything other than that. Like, yeah. I'm quieter, more to myself. Michael's very much to himself. And then my sister is just all personality and out there and conversating with everybody. And, What about you?
For me, I've always been a little different than my brothers. I was kind of a nerd. And they weren't. They were like cool kids. They do actual work. Like they actually do physical labor. And I don't. I've never really. I worked down at Hatters doing a ride jockey or whatever. When you're a kid, that's fine. But after I got out into the world, started doing tech support and been doing tech support for over 20 years. So that's been my entire career. Very different from what they do. And it does kind of, we see things differently, but we still, there's a lot of things we had that was instilled in us from my dad and my mom. So there's that. I mean, we still have all that, but we're different. We're very different.
Tommy's a lot quieter than you.
Tommy is a lot quieter than me. Billy's not so much that he's quiet, but he's
Billy's got that good sarcasm.
Yeah, he's got a really.
He's got some sarcastic funny.
Yeah, he's fun to be
which
around.
I appreciate.
Yeah, but he could take it or leave it. Whether he's hanging out with a bunch of folks or not. So, Bill's kind of he's into whatever situation he's in. He's all 3 of us are kind of like this, but when it comes to rolling with the situation, he's probably the most adaptable to situations. I think
you're pretty adaptable.
I'm pretty adaptable too, but So yeah, there's a lot of that, but mostly just that perspective of doing real work versus what I do, which is bullshit. So.
Well, it's not really bullshit. I hear people screaming at you all day long. They don't scream at you for nothing.
Yeah, well.
All right. When did you get into the most trouble as a teenager?
Ooh, shit. I never got in trouble as a teenager.
You never got in any trouble as a teenager?
No. I honestly, that's a true statement. If any of my, if my brothers or my cousins are watching, they'll be like, "Yeah, you didn't get in trouble at all." I barely left my room. I was way shy back then. I never got in any trouble at all. Never hung out with anybody. Yeah.
I didn't get into a lot of trouble as a teenager either, but I remember a specific incident.
Well, now you gotta tell
I didn't really get in trouble over this, but I had two best friends all through high school, and for some reason, her ex, someone they dated, deserved to have eggs thrown at their mailbox. And I was the only one who drove or had my own car to drive at the time. And so I was the driver. And one of the girls was the one who the boy who had the issue with the boy. And then the other girl was like she had the softball arm and really good aim. And we just, were stupid and did a few rounds of egging things and ended up egging. And here's how stupid I was, because I had a car with a personalized license plate. And I was not like popular, but one of my friends were more popular than I was. Someone recognized my car anyway. And so we had family in town visiting, one of my dad's brothers and his family.
Uncle Jerry, wasn't it?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And this kid comes walking up to the door and asks to see. My dad answers and he's like, "Can I see your daughter?" And he just assumed it was Jennifer. That kid was there for Jennifer. And he's like, "No, your other daughter who drives that car." And he's like, "Oh, like, what's the deal?" And he proceeds to tell my dad that his car had been egged and whatever. And so my dad, he made a comment to my dad about not really giving a damn. Like, I thought I was going to be talking to a parent that was going to care or whatever. And that just pissed my dad off. And so I went into the bathroom and hid and started crying. I was so embarrassed. And I mean, on the grand scale of things I could have done as a teenager compared to stuff my dad did, and like, I mean, I wasn't even in the same ballpark. And so they thought it was hilarious. Of course, I never really got in trouble for that. My other friend with the great arm, who pretty much nailed anything she threw, and I got into big trouble with her parents. And then the other one, her parents never even found out. That's how our little thing
And the egg thrower has got chickens now, which is interesting. She's always armed.
That actually, but that's true.
Reminds me of this thing. There was a time where I wasn't working or going to school because I busted my knee all the hell. It was helping Tommy and Darlene out, watching the kids so they could work and be there when the kids got home from school. Well, they came home one day and I knew they were something off, but I was like, okay. And then somebody knocked at the door. Well, both of them panicked and was like, "Oh, before you answer the door, this is what happened." And they blurted out that when they got off the bus, one of the other kids decided he was going to be big and bad, and he grabbed my niece's Tabitha's book bag, and I guess he pushed her down a little bit, and then TA ran him down, knocked him down, got the bag back, and basically that was the end of it. And I was like, "Well, you did the right thing. That's what you're supposed to do." So I answered the door, and this woman's there. This big woman is, waving her finger, saying, "Your son did it." He's not my son; he's my nephew. And goes, "Why? Well, whatever. He did this." And I said, "Yeah, because your kid tapped it down and grabbed the bag and walked away with it. So he did exactly what he's supposed to do. She said, well, you're a negative uncle. And I said, get the fuck off my property.
A negative uncle. Negative uncle.
You're a negative
That's
uncle.
The biggest insult you could have ever gotten.
Yeah. But I was just
you're a negative uncle.
No, fuck you. Get off this land. Teach a kid not to rob anybody or do it better.
Well, we got paid back fairly in spades because the high school that I went to, there was another high school fairly close to us, and there was always an egg war between them at homecoming time or something. Mm-hmm. And I had graduated from high school, but was giving my friend who was a senior that year a ride to school. And it was this time, and I still had like my parking pass and everything on my car that signaled that I, which high school I went to. And I was driving her to school, and this truck pulls up next to us, and these kids just start hurling eggs at the car while we're driving down the road. And I immediately just started laughing hysterically because I'm like, if this isn't payback, like the windshield wipers were going, and I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
If you're, I couldn't get mad because, I was a bonehead, but like I never snuck out or got drunk or like never did drugs to this day. I've never smoked pot. Like that was just not me as a kid. I was kind of a follower. The worst I ever did was fake being sick so I could stay home from school.
Price is right.
And I did that a lot. Yeah. I even put the thermometer up to the light bulb one time just to get the mercury to go. And I like looked at it, was like, I have a 200 and some degree fever. I don't think she's going to believe that. But anyway.
You or me?
Me. Right. If one of your friends needed to move in for a year, who would you like it to be? That's a loaded question.
That is a loaded question. I'd like to think there's some folks that if they really needed help, I would do whatever it was they needed help with.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. Like, of course you would do whatever you had to do to help your friend.
Right.
But like the whole who would you want it to be thing, I
don't want any of my friends to have trouble to where they got to move in with me for a year. Because that means that they're in some really jacked up situation. But I don't know.
Who do you think you'd get along with in the house for a year?
Oh, I don't know.
Pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, we pretty much would get along with anybody.
It's just like we actually had the experience. We had Cindy here twice.
Yeah.
For
that's family, though.
Yeah, that's family. But, it's just, if somebody needed the help, we would provide it. I don't think anybody's seeking us out. It's not like we're
not anybody's first choice.
Yeah.
Too many adults already living here.
Yeah, we have 5 adults and Tilly, the terror dog.
Tilly got a rabies shot this week. Boy, she milked that for all it was worth for a day or so.
Yeah. Forgot about talking about that at the beginning.
All right. Next question. In other words, we hope none of our friends ever need to move in here.
Yeah.
Anybody would. We'd let you stay here rather than stay on the street.
There you go.
As long as it's not Richard. Just kidding, Richard.
Would you take a 50% pay cut to have a job you were guaranteed to passionately love? So you're already...
I already love my job.
Yeah.
I complain about it a lot. That's not a question for me. That's a question for you.
No.
Can afford to.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, first of all, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm not passionately loving my job. I work technical support. I do an escalation line at a cable company. So if you're thinking that sucks, yeah, it does. Somebody gets pissed off at the cable company, they're talking to me. That's my job. Is it great?
And those wicked cable companies just do things to piss people off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They shut your internet off on purpose.
We're just pressing buttons to fuck you over. But it's the job. It's not all bad. There's a lot of times where I help people out and get them out of, help them in the situation. There was a few times today I helped people get their stuff working. They were super appreciative, and that's great. But I make no bones about it. My job is not easy, and it's not great. But it pays the bills. I get paid decent money. Not a tremendous amount of money. There are a lot of people making a lot more money than me, but I make enough. So to take a 50% pay cut, it would affect the other people living in this house, we pretty much couldn't live here.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to afford to. I mean, I guess if you're living in this land of like the money doesn't matter, sure, but like money does matter. Sorry,
it does. It does. So I suck it up and I get sign in, and it's what you do, And there's not really anything I'm passionate about to where I'd want to go out and do it. So
which is so exciting.
Yeah. I mean, if I can make, more money doing this somehow, then yeah. But I would have to make more money,
More than zero.
Yeah.
Right. We don't do this to make money.
Yeah,
Clearly
we haven't. We're not getting any, you guys won't even comment half the time. Jesus. I'm not going to ask you to just give me any money, but, if you want to throw some cashola
stop. No.
Okay.
Oh, this is a great question for you.
Yeah?
What's your favorite dirty word and why?
Oh, it's just plain old fuck, man. Because it works. It works in every situation, in a lot of different ways. It's a great punctuation point. It just makes the point. So, if you're...
And he uses it a lot.
Yeah. That's fucked up. Fuck it.
Probably at least
asshole.
Every other sentence has the F word in it. Even when he's not mad, like he just uses it.
Yeah.
What? And then you can tell because Mom will be in the kitchen and Kevin will say it and you can hear Mom go.
Yeah, but then she throws it out there too now.
No, only once on a rare occasion when it actually is a punctuation. You use it so much it just is part of your vocabulary.
Well, it's not as bad as the folks up in Boston. A few times I've been up in Boston, I mean, Jesus, I'm a saint compared to some of those folks.
Yeah,
man.
I like a good F word. I used the C word one time with Kevin as a joke, and I've never lived it down. I've never lived it down. I've learned since then. I've learned. I mean, it was just between him and I. Would never say it as an insult toward anybody.
Can we give a little bit of the details? The Winter Olympics, the first Olympics we saw together. It was the Winter Olympics, and it was the opening ceremony. I think it's Canada or wherever the hell it was. It doesn't really matter. And at one point, they had this person coming up through the floor, through what was some sort of tape, and then opened up, and this person started slipping through. Like basically, they were being born. And she said something about how that looks like a see you next Tuesday. And it was like a 12-year-old girl.
It ended up being like a little girl. Yeah, I mean,
oh my God,
it's been 16 years and I will never live that down.
But it was just perfect the way it happened. She, of course, was not calling the little girl.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was going to turn out to be a little girl.
But it really looked like,
And I was just trying to be funny and use a word that would shock him and make him laugh.
And it did for 16 years. It's the best.
I hate that word.
Mm.
Ugh, I hate that word.
And the one time you used it. Nailed it. Mm. All right. What's your personal hell?
Oh, man. Personal hell. How many times have I texted you at work going, I am stuck in hell?
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's work related.
I mean, I think it's so hard. I mean, it's just one of those things where, like, okay, I hate to keep going back to the job related thing, but you teach kindergarten, so I'm surrounded by 5-year-olds all day. 90% of the time they are fun and they always have something funny to say, and their outlook on life, the way they see things is entertaining, and I enjoy being there. Then there's that 10% of the time where the planets align or something happens, and I generally notice it's when I'm less prepared. So like if I'm working on an activity that I just happened to think of that morning and I'm pulling things together, or, I'm not quite 100% ready, or something happened in our schedule to knock us all off. Mm-hmm. That tends to just throw them when I can't seem to get them to listen, or you feel like you don't have control over it and they're just going in 100 different directions, and no matter what I say, unless I put that booming teacher voice on, which I don't like to do often, to stop them, hearing my name repeated over and over and over and over, and like the constant things drawing my attention in 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 different ways constantly. Sometimes I just feel like this is hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just need to get up and walk out of this room. That's why sometimes I go home and I just need complete quiet in the car because I just need to not hear my name again. And I've told the kids before, like, Mrs. Rose is gone. Do not say my name again because Mrs. Rose, so-and-so. Or when they're tattling on each other. Oh, I have very
Suck it up, kid.
And it's funny because I feel anxious and I feel irritated, but I probably don't come off that way to them, because I try to, like, keep it looking like I'm in control. Even though on the inside, I'm just, like, wanting to scream, sit the fuck down, but I certainly would never do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are days like that. Mm-hmm. And I guess for work, that's how I'm at home.
For me, just rewind. And to the last question, just listen to that again. And it's just that. It's a difficult job, and sometimes it's not fun. It happens.
It's sad that our personal health, both job related.
Yeah.
And I guess you spend half your life at your job. So, and you're home, you're with your people that you love. There's not that much to.
And traffic. Fuck all that.
I don't like traffic either. I don't like traffic either.
Yeah.
That's true. Sometimes when Kevin's driving and I'm not sure because he's got a blind spot. So I'm not sure if I should warn him that something's coming or not warn him because...
If it's anything over here, yeah.
Like, did you see that person in the car? Or do you have a red light or the light? I just don't know whether or not I should say something and I end up saying something and then I'm like, I'm sorry, I know you knew that.
Yeah.
But you don't have a problem with that?
No.
Okay. Good.
I have a high threshold.
Walmart. Grocery shopping. I'm changing my answer.
Yeah, because you never do that.
I would rather be in a room full of kids calling my name incessantly than grocery shop and anywhere, especially in a Walmart. That's why I don't do it. I don't even know how many years it's been since I've stepped into a grocery store.
Yeah.
Since they started doing curbside pickup, and that was well before the pandemic. I do not like to grocery shop. Hate it with a pat. That's my personal hell. Grocery shopping and being in the mall. Oh. You know what I hate about being in the mall? I hate when you're walking in the mall. And again, it's been decades probably since I've been in a mall. Mm-hmm. You're walking in the mall. As a human, here I am. And Chuck E. Cheese. I have a lot of hell places. Chuck E. Cheese is next. But when you're in the mall and you're walking and the person in front of you just dead stops for no reason. And then you're like bumping into them or having to walk around them, completely clueless that there is anyone around them that they are impacting with the way they're moving. That's why I hate Chuck E. Cheese too. I literally was in a Chuck E. Cheese one time and people were just pushing and bumping grown ass adults. I don't mind if a kid bumps into me or pushes me. They're kids, whatever. But grown-ass adults walking through me like I'm not standing there. And I know you see me. I'm hard to miss. So, oh my God. I totally changed my answer. My job can be like heaven. Walmart, the mall, and Chuck E. Cheese.
Squall and youngins in a skee ball bill and Chuck E. Cheese hell.
Chuck E. Cheese hell. I hate it.
Favorite Chuck E. Cheese thing. One day I went to go pick her up from school, and they were having Chuck E. Cheese night or whatever, and they decided they were going to have Chucky out with the buses. So I happened to pull up, and there's Chucky out with the buses, and apparently they didn't tell you guys because they opened the door. And then he got bum rushed by 500 kids. That would be my personal hell. Could you imagine?
That poor guy.
You got 500 kids running at you. Chucky!
Yeah, from that day on, they were like, all right, Chucky's going to be in the bus loop. Please let your kids know before you walk out there that they have to stay in the line. They can wave at Chucky.
It was hilarious.
But that very first time when we all went out there unaware Chuck E. Cheese was out there, once little kids start running toward Chucky, you can't stop them.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, And
it was like a wave of lava.
They don't think. It doesn't connect, and that's the problem with 5-year-olds. Like, they might know they shouldn't run to Chuck E. Cheese. They should stay in the line. But when they see Chuck E. Cheese, all of those little messages from their brain to their body just disconnect, and they start running.
That's the difference between children and adults. So children see Chuck E. Cheese, they run towards them. But as an adult, you see a giant rat, you're not running towards the rat, you know?
Get me as far away from that as I can. All the teachers are running in the opposite direction. Chucky!
Sorry, pal, we're sacrificing you to the gods of childhood.
That poor guy. That was terrible.
Ooh, what's the most scared you've ever been?
That's an easy one for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, we've talked about this before. That was the night you got sick and we ended up going to the hospital by ambulance.
Yeah.
I think that was the most scared I've ever been.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The most, like, not irrational fear. Like, there was Incline Railway where I was, like, petrified and panic attacking, but that was irrational. The fear with the hospital, no, we're not doing that again.
Yeah. And I'd had that a few times when you were doing, when you had your gallbladder. But I'd say probably in my life, and I think I've talked about this on the podcast, I got a call one night when I was getting off work. I was getting ready to get off work anyway from Cannon, and I got a call, your dad's had a stroke, he's heading to OBC Hospital. And I left and made it from Cannon's parking lot to OBC Hospital. I actually beat them there, which I don't know how that happened, but I must have been flying. And I was like, I don't even know what to do here because he's having a stroke, And it ended up, he survived. And this was long before I met you. This is basically when his health started turning south.
Those are the scary moments.
Whew.
When you just don't know what to do.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it. That's it for this week's Table Topics.
So we will finish up our little episode here with our TikTok video of the week.
Yeah. And, let us know what you think. Did you like the couples table topics or the not your mama or not your mother's table topics? Let us know. So, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week for episode 36.
36.
Ooh, 9 months, babe. We could have had a baby in this amount of time.
Don't even play that.
No, that's not true. It takes 40 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Yesterday I was walking my dog and a straggly old man walked up to him and tried to pet him. I said, "Hey, that's my dog. Don't fucking touch him." He said, "I'm sorry. I'm just lonely ever since my wife died 3 years ago." I felt awful. I asked him if he wanted to go out to lunch with me and my dog. He said yes. Later on at lunch, he let me know that he didn't realize he was going to feel this lonely when he was planning his wife's murder 4 years ago. Lunch was awkward after that, but I paid the bill.
None of that happened.
I paid the bill.